Howdy folks. It's been forever and a day since I made a YouTube video, but I was feeling in the mood and was about to clean my pipes for the evening and figured I would take you along for the ride on one of them, and hopefully maybe it'll get me back in the swing of it and I'll make a few more. So this is the pipe that I smoked earlier this morning. This is a GBD, oh god. Whoop. GBD Premier Conquest old bend pipe. Here's an estate pipe I got a long time ago at my local shop, and it needs to be cleaned. So most importantly, it's been left to cool for quite a long time. There's no specific amount of time that you need to wait to let them cool, but it has to be completely cool to the touch, completely ambient temperature. So the first thing you got to do is scrape out all the dottle, excess tobacco. I have a little old tobacco tin that I use to scrape out all the dottle just so it doesn't stink up the trash so bad. And then you take a pipe tool, or in my case a pipe knife, blunt pipe knife, and get after it. Get all the excess stuff out of there. Check it. Not quite. Alrighty, it should be good. Next thing I do is I take it apart. Very gingerly. Try not to do too much twisting just because I'm scared to death to break the tenons on these, especially these older pipes for which I'd be lost forever trying to find a replacement stem for. So the first thing I like to do is just get the stem out of the way. I have here in this wee bottle, this isn't actually, it's in a Kraken bottle, but it's actually Plantation High Proof Rum, 69% alcohol rum. You can use any alcohol you want, you know. Just stick with stuff that's not methylated, so anything edible, anything food safe. I take the end of a scrubby pipe cleaner, dip it in that rum, and then I give it a little scrub. There's that. Take a soft, dry cleaner, run it through. Then I take, of course, it's not here, this guy. And you want to be a little careful, especially with this high proof alcohol. It's it really can harm the finish on this stuff. And in this particular case, this vulcanite stem on this old pipe is already pretty bad. So I'm not super worried about it. But, you know, on your newer pristine pipes, you really want to be careful with this high proof rum, particularly on the briar finish. It'll strip the finish off. It's pretty strong stuff. Yeah, I just give it a rub down, some of that alcohol. And if you're real fastidious about it, you can take a cleaner and get at that little fishtail bit in there. That little fishtail holds all sorts of tar, so okay. When they start to come out clean, you can be pretty certain that you're good to go. So there's the stem, pretty well done. Next, we go through a similar process with the bowl. Scrubby pipe cleaner. Dip just the tip. Run it down in the bowl. In the shank, rather. If you can make it. Alright, here we go. give it a good scrubbing. And it comes out black. Right, take the other end, clean end. Do the same thing. Take a standard pipe cleaner and sop it all up. You really don't want to leave too much liquid in the bottom of these. That looks pretty good. And maybe give it a fold over. You want to give the shank a little attention where the tenon of the stem meets it, because there's tar and dottle that, no, not necessarily dottle, but tar that can hide in there that you want to get out. Very good. Alright, and then the next step for me is I try and get the bowl pretty well clean. At least clean without damaging the hard fought for carbon layer, and also you don't want to beat up the inside of the bowl too bad, just because it, down the line it will just make it more vulnerable to burn out, to have scratches and gouges in there. So I take a little pipe cleaner, put a loop in it, put it in there. This is just a dry pipe cleaner for now, so we get a feel for how dirty it is. Not so bad. And you see me tapping it. You really want to be ginger about what you knock these pipes against. This soft towel, it's on top of a wood tabletop, so I really don't want to be bashing it up against this. If I had a cork knocker, that'd be ideal. But, you just want to be gentle. Use the palm of your hand if you're a little nervous about that. Take a peek. Actually looks pretty good. Then I take another one. Same thing. I put a little rum on there. Not much. Just enough to make a mess. And this will come out black. It'll pick up all sorts of little goobers out of there. There's that. Looking good. So now it should be wet. You want a nice kind of even wetness in there that you then want to remove. You really don't want to leave alcohol in there. We're using this as a cleaning agent. Now it's a food safe cleaning agent, because ultimately, we want this to be as flavorful and as safe as possible. But you don't want to leave too much liquid in there. Just enough. Keep it sweet. And this will continue to come out black. You should not expect to try and get the bowl entirely clean as you would the stem or the shank. It's just not going to happen, and it shouldn't. You want there to be carbon in the bowl. The last of the cleaning steps, I take another rag, a little rum, and I try and get any black off the rim there that I can within reason, knowing full well that this will beat up the finish on the briar, but we're going to address that here at the end. I just like getting it as clean as possible. Alright, and we're pretty good. So the inside's pretty dry. Outside's pretty clean. I feel pretty good about that. So for this particular pipe, that's the last step before applying a little bit of a finish on it just to keep it healthy. And so for that, I use just a flannel cloth and a little beeswax mixed with mineral oil, which is something you would buy if you had an open pore cutting board or some other wood accessory that you needed to keep safe but also needed to be food safe. So I get a little of this beeswax compound on the rag. You really don't need a lot. These pipes aren't very large. And I just rub it on there. You don't need tons, but you also want to be thorough. You don't want to have a mismatched mottled surface after you're done here. So you get it everywhere, and it's safe on the vulcanite, and if this was acrylic, it's safe on the acrylic. Then all I do is I take the dry side and I rub that dry. It just leaves it protected, a nice sheen to it. Keeps it safe for when it's sitting on the rack. You still want to avoid sunlight as much as possible, and you know, dramatic changes in temperature, humidity. But otherwise, there we are. Just as good as new, or in this case, quite a bit better than when it was new when I bought it. The only step really that differs on some pipes is some will have sterling silver bands. For that, I just use a little Mayflower or similar silver cloth, you know, that you would have used on your grandmother's silverware. This has a treated interior cloth and then a standard microfiber exterior cloth that you just use to polish the band up, and that's pretty much it. And that's the process. So sorry again for the you know, I'm sure the lighting is atrocious, the audio is atrocious, but I just felt like making a little something, and hopefully in the future I'll make something with my face in it. Maybe we'll get back to making pipe tobacco reviews and all that. But for now, that's all, and thanks for watching.